In this video, sources of tea knowledge, my suggestions to improve your tea knowledge. Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan, where we share the pleasure of drinking and discovering genuine farm tea. If you're new here in our channel and you're also looking to expand your tea knowledge and brewing skills, make sure to click on the subscribe button and don't forget to give us a thumbs up if at any point of time you enjoy watching. Today I would like to speak with you about the sources of tea knowledge. nannuoshan YouTube channel is one of many sources of tea knowledge. Which other sources there are out there where you can go and grasp tea knowledge? That's what we want to talk about today. My suggestion, of course, just about the topic. And if you have suggestions for everyone watching, don't forget to go down in the comments below and put your comment giving your tips and suggestions, because we are a community and we want that everyone can profit of each other, right? Not only you of me. Just joking here. All right, so let's get started with the topic. First of all, you know what? When I was starting about thinking about this video, I was saying, you know, I don't really want to give you only my personal opinion about sources of tea knowledge. Let's ask around to my tea friends what they think about the topic. So I started interviewing friends. And by the way, now I'm going to do this tea here is a Dansong Oolong, and I thought, yeah, let's start interviewing some friends. Let's see which suggestions they have. And you know what? Most of my tea friends were actually mentioning personal interaction with other tea friends as the main source of their tea knowledge. So just, you know, speaking, interfacing, interacting with other friends, searching together, exchanging opinion. And this is for sure an important source. And also some of them started giving me a long list of websites, of blogs to look after, and the list was so long that I thought if I have to give all of these, it's just too much information. I had the feeling I will give you more quantity than quality. So I thought, you know what, Gabriele, let's stick just to your information, to your personal experience. You know what you're talking about. And this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give you my personal suggestion on the topic. And towards the end of the video, I will also tell you how I got my tea knowledge, because the two things, my suggestions and how I got there, do not necessarily overlap, and you will understand why by the end of the video. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I will have different topics, different sources, different categories. So we will look at books, for example, magazine, websites, blog, forum, of course, YouTube channels, and so on. So I will group all these sources together according to this category, and I will go from those that I consider, those categories that I consider most reliable, towards the end where those that are a little bit less reliable, but it is in those that you really find the most special information. So first of all, when you start looking for a source of tea knowledge, you want to understand where your source got their information, the source of your source. This is very, very important in the field of tea, because there is so much information out there, and people say one thing and the opposite of that thing. You want to see what is the truth. So take, for example, the Tea Classic, the Classic of Tea, which is a book that was written more than 1,000 years ago by Lu Yu. And let's say that this is a source of your information. So if you know Chinese, you can go ahead and read the book yourself in Mandarin, in the original language. If you cannot do that, you might read the translation in English of that book, or maybe you don't even have access to a good translation and you have just hearing from friends what they have read or what they have heard there is in that particular book. So you see that, of course, you have different level of reliability of that information. One thing is reading the book yourself, and another thing is hearing from someone what you have heard that there is written in that book. And the same is valid for all sources of information. And let's start with the first category, which is books. I want to speak to you about books. First of all, be aware that although books are usually a reliable source of information, everyone can write books. to be an author of a book, you don't need much. You need just to find the publisher and find the time to writing, and it's not so difficult, maybe less than you think. So you want to really read information about the author, understanding who is the author, before you read the book and you waste your time, or even worse, you invest time in learning information that is not reliable and might be wrong. So what I did here, I have a list of different books that I have pre-selected for you, books that I have read and that I would like to suggest to you. For example, if we look at basic tea knowledge, I have a book that I've also mentioned in the past, that is History, Terroir and Varieties by the guys of the tea house Camellia Sinensis in Canada. A very nice basic book, reliable with good information, is one of the first books that I read actually about tea. Another one that I really loved, I read it really also a long time ago, is The Story of Tea by Tea Tracker. Tea Tracker is or was an online tea shop in the US, and they were some of the first tea shop owners to travel to China themselves to source tea. And what I really liked of that book is all the details about their journey in China. That really inspired me at that time to go down there and do it myself. So I really suggest to read that book. If we look about classics of tea knowledge, I mentioned already one, The Classic of Tea by Lu Yu, and there is another one that I would like to suggest. I have here with me actually the German copy, which is this one here. This is, in English, is called The Book of Tea by Kokatsu Okakura. It is Japanese tea knowledge, but what I like of it is not, information about specific teas, is just the attitude, is tea as an art, and also learning about the aesthetics of tea. It's a beautiful book. You have it in many languages. Just check out your translation and go for it. By the way, I will now use my computer here to show you a little bit more. So if you go on Wikipedia, there is a website that you see, actually I will put it in the description below, where you have all the list of tea classics. Are divided in different dynasties. So you have the classic of tea that is here, is the one I was mentioning before. And well, there are many, but for example, this one, The Treatise on Tea by the Emperor Song Huizong, is also a very nice book that I suggest you reading. So it's not a long page, and you have references, and you can go ahead and check that out yourself. Then let me see. The question is also, all these books were written in Chinese or in Japanese. Where can you find let's say, a reliable translation for those? And I will get to that in a second when we'll review another category. What about advanced book? So book that are not really for beginners, are for those of you that really search a little bit more into detailed information. One of that book, actually, I have already presented it to you in a previous video, and it's this one here, First Step to Chinese Pu'er Tea. You have a complete video that I put a link now on the screen about a review of this particular book, and I will do more book review in the future. Just to find the time. It's a quite demanding video making a review of a book, but I will do that for you for sure. Then I have here another book that actually you have in 2 languages at the moment, which is the original language is German, but there is also a very good translation, and it's called Learning by Brewing: The Easy Way to Better Tea. It is in German, it is Einfach besseren Tee trinken, and it is written by Jens Denning, which I know in person, and really is a book that I'm still reading. Actually, I'm pretty much in the middle of it. When I will finish and I will find the time, I will do a review of this book, because it has so much information, and it is also very new, and it's also fairly affordable. You have on Amazon, you can have the Kindle version, and you can buy it, the paper version for just $20 or 20 euros. Then another book that I haven't read, actually this is the only one that I haven't read, but I know the authors and I'm sure the content would be excellent, is Gongfu-cha. Gongfu-cha, I will put links in the description below, is a book by the tea house Lengaste in Bern, Switzerland, one of the most beautiful tea houses there are on earth. and they have a lot of knowledge. They have been running this tea house for fairly more than 30 years, and they recently come out with this specialty book. Just to mention one thing, if you go in the Swiss embassy here in DC, I am in Washington DC, you will find this book in the waiting room. All right, so let's continue our journey with different categories. Just give me a second for taking a sip. It's very hot here today actually, and I had to turn down the air conditioning, otherwise it gets too loud. The next topic I want to talk about is magazine. So which magazine that comes out, once a month, once every 2 months, you can read about tea. There were a few attempts to put out good magazines, tea magazine, but actually I consider only one really successful, and is the magazine of Global Jihad, TAW and Tea. Now, TAW and Tea has been there for many years already. They publish every month, and with a few months delay, you can get all the copies online on their website. Now, as the name of the magazine tells you, TAW and Tea is not only about tea, it's also about Tao, spirituality. So Global Jihad merged the two aspects, which are often very much related, because at the end, tea is also a ritual, but not every one of us is really so much into spirituality, right? Sometimes you are just interested on the tea aspect. Nonetheless, you should really read the magazine of Global Jihad, because even if the way they write and the spirituality they put in there is not your attitude, there is so much reliable information in there, and they have also great translation of classics, of the classics that I was mentioning before and that I showed you on the laptop here. So you really want to go ahead. They have years of magazines that are available on their website. And now let's switch to another topic for which I will need again my laptop here, and it is actually the website. So which website I suggest for you to read and get information. Now I will really tell you website that I regularly use. So here if you want, you cross a little bit with my sources of tea knowledge. And yeah, let's get started. So one source of information that I really suggest is teaguardian.com. Teaguardian.com was written, or is written, and by Leo Kwan. You find about him here. About this site you have Leo Kwan, How Tea Has Chosen Me. I suggest you reading the website, because you want to check which is the source of your source, and here you know about the author of this website. A huge content. You have, for example, here the nature of tea, quality, variety. If you click on it, you go here is basically everything about the origin of tea, the nature of tea, biology a little bit. So you see here a microbiology, a microbial change, and so on. But they have also and subdivided in different categories here that you see, and they're also about quality and variety, so more about the different varieties of tea and how they taste. He's writing in a very good English. He's from Singapore, and he also has a tea shop online, which is teahon.com. Check that out. So this is a very reliable source, a lot of information. It's not a huge website. You can basically read in a few weeks, you can read all the articles that are in there. But he takes the time to really search for information, and he always put the literature for references at the end of each article. So let's pretend that we are searching something about lunging here. And you see 80 search results, you see how much there is on the topic. And yeah, so let's look at the next one, which is TDB, Tea Database. Teadatabase.org is run by James, and James also ran a YouTube channel together with, I think his name is Danny, that is also very popular, mainly focused about pu'er. On this website you have tons of information about pu'er, about rock tea. These two main categories. Well, you see them up here with oolong, pu'er. There's also something about Taiwanese oolong. Reliable source of information for sure. Then we have here bubble carp, And you see that I already made a search for longing to show you how it works, and you see here that it tells you which is the Chinese pronunciation, how to write it in traditional and in traditional and simplified character, and which is the meaning, dragon well, and a short description. And here you have related entries, and you can find in this dictionary almost everything that has to do with Chinese tea, all the lexicon with the short description. Very, very useful. And now I will actually take here Longin, and I will copy it on my clipboard, and I will show you later why. Now I move on to the next one, which is Teapedia, teapedia.org, another very good source of information. Here you can just, like Wikipedia, you make your search, go here, Longin, you search for it, and you have a little bit more information than what we found before on Bubble Carp, which is more a dictionary. And you can also here, it's quite comprehensive, is growing. You can also access and participate in providing additional content like on Wikipedia. Then the last website that I wanted to show you here is actually Baike, which is the Chinese Wikipedia. Now, it is much less reliable than Wikipedia. It's more philosophical, it's a big mess, so everything you read on Baike, you have to make a lot of attention, because most of the time is, is arguably, if they really tell you the truth. But let's pretend that now we search longing, and that's why I copied it on my clipboard. So here it is, longing, I search it. And I'm using Chrome here, and you see that I have here a taskbar where I can switch between Chinese, the original, and the English translation, which is fairly good. And you see that about longing here, and I said if I switch, the original text would be this one, but we can see it in English. There is a lot of information about longing. The translation is very quick, very good, and it's good to read a lot of information. Just be a little bit aware that not necessarily everything that is written there is good information. All right, so now I told you about books, I've spoken about magazine, I've spoken about website. Let's speak about blogs. So interaction, virtual interaction with other fellow tea lovers. And I have to say, so for blog, I don't really read a lot of blog. Actually, I read none of them. It's not because it's not a good source of information. Maybe I don't have time, or I prefer to use other sources instead in the time I have to improve my tea knowledge. That doesn't mean that I don't suggest you to go out and search for blog, and I will put a few suggestions in the description below. And so I said I won't spend much more time on that. If you want some tips from me, let's go ahead in the description below. But for blogs, is not really for me a good personal good source. And what about the forum and chat online about tea? Also here, I have to say I don't participate. I barely participate actually in tea forum. I will show you a few that I consider good sources, but I have to say that personally I am a little bit disturbed by the attitude that I see in many tea forums. Like, people are a little bit sometimes even aggressive, arrogant, especially with each other, but also with respect to vendors that appear on their forum. They think that if a vendor writes something there, they are there just for selling their products, and at the end, I mean, as a vendor, we are the only source you have for tea. Not many of you go down to China and Japan and buy it by the farmers. So without us, actually, you cannot really get your tea. And I don't understand all this arrogance and attitude that pissed me off already many times. And so I thought, you know what? I don't have to do it. Let's leave it. And ever since, I haven't been participating. But let me show you some sources actually. So, for example, we have Tea Talk. Tea Talk or Tea Talk is actually a German-based forum, very popular in Germany, very high-level content, but a lot of content. So you'd have to spend a lot of time to go through every article. But here you have the most knowledgeable tea drinkers in Germany or German-speaking country that actually write here, and I have quite a few friends of mine. I have also an account, but I stopped using these a long time ago. On Facebook, there are two groups that I would follow. There is this one here, Gonfucha. You can search, you see up here, Gonfucha, but you can easily find it on Facebook. Many thousand people participate here, and well, it seems, yeah, it's loading here a little bit. Oh, I have this teapot. That's funny. I have this teapot at home. You see, there are a lot of pictures. You can, what I suggest here and in the next one, maybe a little bit more reliable, is International Tea Talk. Here you have the possibility to make questions, and usually people react very quickly. Like, you have a tea, you don't know what it is, or you need some sort of information about something about tea. Write your question and you will get within a few hours quite a few answers. And then we have here Reddit. On Reddit there is also a tea section, very, very popular, and even more international actually, and maybe a little bit more for the US, but not only. And then this is a tea channel, community on Discord, that I also suggest, and this is a little bit more friendly also for vendor, and I find people here are a little bit less arrogant and more willing to help and to interact with each other. So that was about forum and chat, and let's now move on. So YouTube channels. nannuoshan is a YouTube channel. You know, we had until some years ago we had the tea house, and with the tea house, for me personally, it was an opportunity of personally meet our customer and interact with them. Everything started in nannuoshan because of personal interaction, and now last year I was kind of missing that interaction, and I thought, you know what, I have a YouTube channel because 4 years ago I did a couple of videos. Let's revamp that and let's use that as a mean of being in contact with you, and it's working well, and I'm still here doing video, so it seems that I don't intend to stop, so I will continue at least for a while, and I hope you enjoy this content and interaction with me. All right, nannuoshan is not the only YouTube channel, right? So let me show you another couple of those that some of them I follow, some of them I know but I don't follow. Maybe you know all of them, but let me tell you a little bit my opinion about those. So let's see what we have. We have, well, of course, Mayleaf. Mayleaf is the most popular Gonfu tea channel with over 60,000 subscribers. Is a must, I would say. Don and Celine, they're super funny to watch. They have done a lot for improving the tea knowledge worldwide and getting people that barely know what is real tea really into tea culture. So a big thank you actually to Don for it, from Mayleaf. They have also a tea house in London, so if you end up in London, go visit them. Farmer Live. Farmer Live is run by William. William is a French guy that is living in Yunnan in Chiang Mai with his wife, and he doesn't post a lot of video, and maybe technically they are not that sound and perfect like Mayleaf, but the content is really good. You have interviews with farmers, and he brings you the contact with the poor reality in Yunnan. So I really like his channel. Then we have TDB. I mentioned before the website, and here you see they have also a YouTube channel. They are very active and mainly focus on videos about the poor, and a little bit of rock tea as well, and also Taiwan oolong. They are focused on certain suppliers. I don't know if they have a deal with some of them or not, but nonetheless they are very knowledgeable and worth following. And all these links that I'm telling you, books, links, website, will be written in the description below. You don't have to write things down. The Teapository, a tiny, if you want, channel with respect to actually Mayleaf. It just have 400 subscribers, and they don't post a lot of videos, but they're really nice guys. There are two guys, actually they are Chinese originally, but they live in Australia. They have recently opened also a tea angle where they sell tea there, and they bring you a lot of good information because they are Chinese. They are Chinese, they speak perfect English. They are, I would say, a good attitude for me towards tea. Go and check out their video about Da Hong Pao. And last but not least, Global Tea Hut. They are more active as a magazine. but they do also make video from time to time. There are some time where they post a lot, sometimes where they post less, but you definitely want to check that out. They are also very good from a technical perspective, so they are very nice video, not only content wise, certainly that, but also aesthetically speaking. All right, so what there is next? I would say what we have to speak about is, of course, also online shops. nannuoshan is also an online shop. There are other out there, and now you know what? Actually, you know my competitors better than I do. I don't have time, I don't want maybe to invest the time in looking out for competitors. Sometimes I buy from them, and I made a few videos even where I taste some tea of our competitors that I found very interesting. But yeah, I won't give you any suggestion on that simply because you know more than I. Concerning physical shop, that's a different story. I really suggest you to check out if you have any good tea store next to you, and also when you travel. Traveling is a great opportunity to find a new tea shop and discover something new. I do that every time I travel, actually. So now I gave you a little bit of sources here, and I want now to tell you a little bit where did I get my tea knowledge. And you know, I've told you I don't read blog, I don't write on forum, I barely know my competitors, so what the hell, where did I get my tea knowledge? Well, everything started, as I told you just a few minutes ago, visiting tea houses. So I am a traveler, I am very much on the road, and every time I was traveling, I was simply looking for new tea houses, and I really always have enjoyed direct sourcing. I really have a weakness, if you want, for shops that do source the tea themselves from the farmer, because they not only have a direct source of tea, they have also a direct source of information. So I visited those tea houses, I had a lot of exchanges with the owners, and I even ended up traveling to China with some of them during their sourcing trip. But yeah, it wasn't my first trip to China, but I did that as well. So I really suggest you really to go out, search for tea houses, try to find out if they have direct sourcing, and get in touch with the owners. Then what else? So at a certain point I really had the urge of traveling to China myself. It was the first time was about 10 years ago, and I thought I have to go there and see with my own eyes. And when I did that, I realized how important it is. I have to tell you, if you have the chance, go to China or to Japan. I mean, go on a tea journey. 2 weeks spent properly in China after tea can be more rewarding in terms of tea knowledge than years of seeking information on the web. So now, if you are a little bit afraid of doing that yourself, you know, in China they don't speak English, it's a little bit difficult to go around there, you can always join a tea tour. nannuoshan is offering one. We bring our customer every year to China, so if you want that, just reach out to us at info@nannuoshan.org, or just check out our website. And you can do it yourself. I did it by myself, but certainly when you join a tea tour, you have the opportunity of really make out the most of your 2 weeks, because sometimes time in China is not well invested. You are not always that lucky. Maybe I should do a video about a few situation where I was really unlucky in sourcing tea and how it ended up. Anyway, another important source of information is tea friends. For me, very important. Like, I like the interaction with my tea friends, exchanging information. It helps me also in getting new ideas and search after them in the website and books that I told you before. And of course, another point is reading from reliable sources. And also here I showed you a few, and with reliable sourcing I mean books and a proper website. And this is pretty much of it. I hope you have enjoyed this video about the sources of tea knowledge. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe our channel for more video like this, and also about our other topic about tea culture, tea knowledge and tea art. And give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed watching this video. Thanks a lot, and I will see you the next time. Bye bye, guys.